Alright, what's up guys, it's KOSDFF here, and today I wanted to talk about something that I've mentioned in a few of my videos over the past couple years, and that is that I was quite the little shit growing up. As you guys can tell, I kind of have a natural quick-wittedness, I guess, to me, and that is a trait that I've had my whole entire life, and when I was much younger, it led me to believe I could get away with just about anything. And this was reinforced by the fact that I often did. I could literally talk my way out of almost any situation. Now, this is one of kind of like many stories that I hope to tell you guys about my time spent in school over in Sydney, Australia. So we're still in Australia. I have skipped forward about 2 years in our little timeline here because I wanted to talk about being a little shit, and what better place to talk about being a little shit than, you know, middle school and high school. And the school I'm going to be talking about is SCUF. I don't know if you guys are anywhere near Sydney, you know what this school is because it's kind of one of the biggest high schools there. And it stands for Sydney Coeducational Catholic Grammar School, I want to say. And it was SCUF. It was a really fancy school where all the rich kids sent their children, and the only reason why my middle class ass was there is because my dad's company was paying for our school for us to attend. Because obviously we're over in Australia only for my dad's work, and they really kind of paid for everything as a part of the package of getting my dad to basically move his family to Australia for 4 years. Which is a lot to ask somebody. Moreover, it's a lot to ask somebody with a wife and 2 kids that are just breaking into their teens. And just to lay the last bit of foreshadowing before we get into the story, I was kind of a goody-goody two-shoes when I moved to Australia. I didn't develop said little shit habits until I actually got there, and I moved to Sydney, Australia, so this was like a big city. And if you guys are from a big city, you know that you just get exposed to so much more when you live around that many people. But anyways, one of the things I got into when I moved to Australia was graffiti. I'm not sure if you guys have it where you're from, because it's not always everywhere. So it's basically all the colorful writings on the walls, all the very artistic displays of words on the sides of buildings and things like that. I've actually posted a few videos of some black book stuff that I've done. I haven't actually painted a wall in like 10 years, something that I'm really hoping to get back to doing. Maybe I'll just get a huge canvas and put it up in the backyard and do this really massive piece. But anyways, it was very popular in Sydney when I moved there. Like, all the kids did it. It was really kind of like the group you hung out with always had like a tag or crew name or something like that, and you would go spray it around. And then of course that was just our little wannabe crews. The real crews were these badass kids that were probably out of high school that are just running around the city, that are extremely artistically talented, adrenaline junkies, I'm guessing, because some of the stuff they would do in this town was crazy. And if you guys don't know, which I'm guessing you don't, Sydney, Australia is one of the highlights of this planet for graffiti art. It's some of the most talented artists in the world come from Sydney. Now, it was especially popular when I was in my teenage years, like around that time, and not just in Australia but worldwide. You can tell someone that's somewhat near my age, Optic Hex, is also really into graffiti, and as far as I've seen, I think he's the only other person I've met in this entire gaming community of thousands that does that. So of course, being these rebellious graffiti artists, one of the things we did is we tagged up our school quite a lot. Now, this is a rich kid's school, so you know, everyone kind of got away with murder, but they were equally strict because they were so well staffed. They had everybody looking around everywhere, and they had these prefects that would walk around the school that were just basically student tattletales, like the head of your classes. If you've seen Harry Potter, it's loosely based around that. It's a European school thing. I'm not sure most Americans know about it. They just think that's something to do with Harry Potter. Not true. That like having different houses in a school and having prefects is something that all high schools have all across Europe, or at least the English ones do. And there was also this dude, this asshole that walked around. His name was like the Sergeant of Arms or something like that, and he was basically the main disciplinarian for the whole school. And he'd fucking write you up for having your hat fucking looking terrible, your tie wasn't tied straight. By the way, these were private schools, so I had to wear a uniform every day to school. But I'll save that story for another day, because plenty of shit happens with your school uniform, and some funny ass shit happens with your school uniform. And then of course you get hazed by the seniors that'll just go and like fuck with your uniform just so you get in trouble. We'll save that for later. Today we're talking about basically my adventures of graffiti in the school. But you know, I was never really terribly into graffitiing the school because everyone knew my tag at my school, and if it wasn't somewhere fucking ridiculous, it was just like, ugh. Like, you didn't even put any effort into it. So, like, if you drew it on a desk or a bathroom stall, everyone would be like, haha, wow, I guess he was bored while taking a shit. But if you got up somewhere crazy in the school and did your tag, everyone was like, yo, that's my dude. But there was hella snitches in the school. Everyone told on you, no matter what. So, in general, you just didn't tag up the school very much. And I never really did. But there was another graffiti artist who had a very similar style to mine, and he used to tag up fucking everything. I actually never met him. I don't even remember what his tag was. Mine at the time was Trick. But anyways, we had a very similar style of, like, connecting the T and the R and the I, because he was a part of like the Tri crew or whatever, some dumb shit that he had made up. Well, anyways, they suspected me. Someone had to have snitched on me because they thought it was me. So of course, when they came and got me and they searched me, I had markers and paint markers and stickers and things like that, because I was a graffiti artist pretty much. We used to do it almost like every single day. It was our thing to go out and kind of like tag up something. It's like having a secret little club, and as soon as you tag something up and you walked by it every day, it's like, oh, I remember that was me. And like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm promoting illegally spraying wall and defacing property and all that stuff, because it is illegal. We did do a fair amount of legal wall stuff at the local YMCA, and most of the YMCAs in Sydney, Australia opened up their entire building to be sprayed upon, like every inch of it. So every single YMCA was just beautifully painted, like with some of the most brilliant fucking graffiti artists. And if your shit was really good, nobody would paint over it for a while too. So it was just really cool. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was 14, 15. I definitely tagged up some shit. But anyways, they caught me, and you know, although my markers and the paint markers I had didn't match the tag that they were trying to look up, because I very quickly pointed that out. I had stickers that I had written my tag on, and then I had also had my friends' tags on. So something graffiti artists do with stickers is you do your tag and you have a whole bunch of stickers, and you do that so you can quickly like put the sticker on stuff, and it's just as good as tagging it. Well, one thing you did when you had like a crew or your friends were also graffiti artists is you would carry their tag stickers too and then stick them up as well. It was like 4 people putting up your sticker all over the city. It was like, I don't know. It was just something that we did. It was like what your homies did. So of course I had my friend's sticker. I think his name was Straps or whatever, and he had put his sticker up on the school, and the school did not believe my story of saying, hey, that wasn't mine, that's just my friend's, and he gave it to me. And when I wouldn't name him, they just of course blamed me, which is cool. I took the rap. I was like, hell yeah, I ain't gonna snitch on nobody, fuck it, give me whatever. So of course this was like the 30th time I've gotten into trouble. I practically lived at that superintendent's fucking office. Now we called her the superintendent because that was a nickname. She was actually like the assistant headmaster, and I'd only seen the headmaster like 2 other times before this, and only 1 other time after this, when I was actually not kicked out of the school but asked to leave. Yeah, we'll get to that. It got that bad. But this time, of course, you know, they brought me right into the headmaster's office, right past my friend who was the superintendent, this is actually kind of funny because I knew her so well and I had spent so much time in her office. She would let me draw and like do my tags and do my little pieces on printer paper while I waited. And I did one of her name and she had it hanging up behind her, and I thought it so funny that I was about to get in trouble for something that she had hung up on her wall. Now, this school did have a large problem with graffiti, just like every building did in all of Sydney, Australia around that time, because it was that popular. It was one of the largest subcultures in Sydney. It really was. He brought me in there and he really did come down on me pretty hard because it's a really big problem. They had already kind of suspected me, and I had kind of gotten in trouble for this 2 other times before this. And this was a rich kid school, so they didn't bug your parents much. And when they did, they like downplayed it for you. They almost covered for you because you were gonna get like sent home that day or something. They kind of like told your parents like how good of a kid you are, because this was a private school and these parents were paying a shit ton of money for their kids to go there. It's literally the nicest private school for that like age range in Sydney. So they gave you stupid punishments, not like in America where they just suspend you from school or you gotta go to like in-school suspension or do all this random stuff. They'd give you like punishments to work with the community. So this time they had told me that I had to clean up all the graffiti in the school. Now this is where the private school part comes into it. Something that you guys probably would never have seen in like a normal American school is I showed up on like the Saturday or whatever to do the cleaning up of all the graffiti, and the superintendent lady came to me along with the sergeant of arms, and they gave me like 3 bottles of this graffiti remover and like a couple sponges and some towels, and then said, hey, go clean up graffiti around the school and check back in with us like 3 or 4 hours later. Bad idea, because you just gave me run of the land, the entire school. And they said, we're gonna see you in a few hours. They had shit to do, and the offices were actually kind of like all the way in the front of the school, and the rest of the school was quite a distance away. And the school was so dead silent that I'd be able to hear you coming from a mile away. So you would think I could have done anything and get away with it, but no. In comes little shit mentality. I didn't want to get away with things, apparently, subconsciously. So not only did I not clean any graffiti, I went around and tagged up that entire fucking school. Literally went back to my locker after that, grabbed all my other markers, stickers. I even had a spray paint can that I went up and did like the back woodwork area with and did like a small little bubble piece. I mean, this was a 2-hour triumphant fucking streamlined tagging of an entire school. And I didn't just tag my tags, I tagged all my friends' tags too, because we knew each other's tags pretty well. Most of us knew each other's combinations too, so I of course broke into like all my friends' lockers and did some massive tag on the inside of their door. It was a free-for-all. I ran out of ink. I ran out of paint, 100%. It was all over my fingers, all over my hands, and it was just so obvious that I had been graffitiing. But I didn't stop there. No, 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 no. I wanted to be even more of a little shit. So what I went and did, basically I went and half clean tags. So I'd find a tag, I'd use the solution, I'd wipe it up to get the sponge full of like the marker that I just rubbed off the wall or the paint I just rubbed off the wall. I went and took that sponge right next to the tag I was cleaning and did my tag with that. So really think about that. You're the assistant headmaster, you're coming to collect me, so you're just walking around the school yelling, Justin, Justin, because you have no fucking idea where I'm at. This is a time before your teachers had your cell phone numbers and things like that. So they had just no way of finding me. So they eventually did, and they found me by surprise. I had no idea they were coming. I was just sitting there busy at work fucking tagging shit up. But they caught me tagging shit up, not with my markers and all that stuff, which I had already thrown away and gotten rid of because they were already done. They caught me tagging stuff up with the graffiti removal cloth and the graffiti removal fucking liquid. It would make the towel pretty dark. It would look, actually ended up being kind of like a pseudo marker that you could mark fresh walls up with. And I did like half the school with that shit. And they were fucking livid. They had no idea what to do. So they like grabbed me. They brought me back to the front office. They called my mother down to the school. And my mom was always around, which sucked. Most of your moms, I'm guessing, worked or did some kind of part-time work or did something where she was busy during the day. Because my mom was an expatriate to Australia, my dad had a special visa to work over there, she couldn't work. Like, legally could not earn an income in Australia. So she was just always around. So she, of course, came right down to the school and they told her the whole story. It was like, you know, he was sitting here supposed to be getting punished for, you know, graffitiing up the school and all this stuff. And not only did he not do what he was supposed to do, he actually tagged up the school more with the stuff we gave him to remove the graffiti with. My mom looked at me and almost grinned. I caught it. I looked at her. She almost smiled because I gave her that fucking shit-eating grin of, oh man, I know it. I fucked up, but this is funny as shit. And she looked at me and no, she didn't end up grinning. It was bad. She got very upset and it was, you know, I actually don't remember much of the story after that. Funny enough, I think that was the end of it. Like, they didn't try to punish me after that. Because I told them I went around and cleaned all this stuff. I gave them the story that my friends came and they were hanging out with me and they were tagging up the school while I was cleaning stuff up, and I was actually getting mad at them because they were doing their tags and I was cleaning stuff up. Oh, I was lying. I was lying so much. I was lying so much that the only one in that room that knew I was lying was my mom. And she was forced to go along with it because she didn't want her baby to get kicked out of school. I made myself out to be like a fucking saint. Not only was I not tagging, I was cleaning the wall and lecturing my friends on what a bad thing they were doing because they shouldn't have been doing it. I think they actually bought it and they felt, I don't know. I don't really remember what happened. I just remember that was the end of it. Like, after that, I went home and like that's the last thing I heard of it. But that was really just it. I think that was the last time I got in trouble for it at the school, because I no longer did it at the school or brought anything to the school, because all of my friends all got kind of caught at once. And I think it's because this one kid snitched on everybody. But I definitely got caught by the cops a few extra times, so we'll save that story for another day. I hope you guys enjoyed my little shit story. I hope to bring you guys many more stories from my epic time at Skeggs Reglands. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace.